Gentlemen, let me ask you something very direct. What would you do if I told you that the reason your penis doesn't get hard the way it used to has nothing to do with your age itself, but with a simple problem you can actually fix? Yes, if you've been lying awake at night feeling tired, frustrated, and embarrassed by weak erections, the solution may be far easier and far closer than you think. I'm Dr. Mohit Khera. I've spent more than 30 years as a urologist and men's health specialist, working with thousands of men across America who felt their strength and vitality slipping away. And I've seen men well into their 70s and even 80s completely turn things around once they understood the real cause of their decline and the surprisingly simple step they could take to reverse it. Here's the part that may surprise you. It's not a dangerous drug. It's not surgery. It's not endless hours of workouts. In fact, it isn't even something you take during the day. The breakthrough happens at night, when you give your body just one small pill before bed. And when you do, something remarkable occurs. Erections return with strength, energy surges back into your mornings, and sleep becomes deeper and more restorative than you felt in years. Imagine waking up with confidence again, your body fully recharged. In just a moment, I'll reveal exactly what this nighttime pill is, why it works so powerfully for men over 60, and how you can start using it tonight. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share may change your life forever. Before we go any further, if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to click that button and turn on the notification bell, so you'll never miss another health tip designed specifically for men over 60. And if this message speaks to you, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0, so I'll know how to create even better advice for you. Now let's get straight into the truth. Most men never hear from their doctor. The first reason your erections weaken after 60 has nothing to do with desire. It's because your blood vessels, hormones, and sleep patterns silently change in ways that steal your strength. 1. Why erections fade after 60. The silent truth. Gentlemen, let me speak to you from the heart. One of the most difficult things I see in my office is when a man over 60 looks at me, lowers his voice, and says, "Doc, I just can't get hard the way I used to." There's pain in his words, because behind that frustration is a fear. Fear of losing intimacy, fear of disappointing his partner, fear of losing that part of himself that once made him feel strong, confident, and alive. And the truth is, many men think this decline is simply old age, and that nothing can be done. But I want to be crystal clear with you. It's not your fault, and it doesn't have to be permanent. As a urologist, I've seen this pattern countless times. After 60, your body begins to change in ways you may not notice until the bedroom reveals the truth. The blood vessels that once carried blood quickly and powerfully into your penis become stiffer and less flexible. The arteries that used to expand wide like open highways begin to narrow, restricting the very lifeblood of your erections. At the same time, testosterone, the hormone that fuels desire, drive, and masculine energy, gradually declines. You don't feel the same fire you did in your 30s or 40s, and without that spark, your erections lose their strength. Add to this the reality of aging sleep patterns, those restless nights, tossing and turning, waking up without energy, and you have the perfect storm. Weak blood flow, low hormones, and poor sleep combine to steal away the vitality that once came so naturally. But here's the part that gives me hope for every man I meet. When you understand why this is happening, you can take action to reverse it. You can rebuild blood flow, support your testosterone, and restore deep, healing sleep. And the fascinating part is this: each of these 3 problems is connected. Fix one, and you begin to fix the others. And that brings us to the next piece of the puzzle, the hidden link that ties your erections, your energy, and your sleep together in a way most men never realize. 2. The hidden connection between erections, energy, and sleep. When a man sits in my office and tells me he feels exhausted during the day, restless at night, and frustrated in the bedroom, I often explain something he's never been told before. These problems are not separate, they're deeply connected. The truth is, your erections, your daily energy, and the quality of your sleep are all part of the same system inside your body, and when one begins to falter, the others quickly follow. Think about the last time you had a solid, uninterrupted night of sleep. You probably woke up feeling stronger, clearer, even more alive. For many men, that was also the morning when they noticed a firm, natural erection, the kind that reassures you that your body still works. That is no accident. During deep sleep, your testosterone rises, your blood vessels repair themselves, and your brain resets its chemical balance. Without this nightly restoration, your hormones dip, your circulation weakens, and you wake up tired, sluggish, and disconnected from the man you used to be. I remember one of my patients, a man in his late 60s, who told me he hadn't had morning wood in years. He also admitted he was always tired and rarely slept through the night. He thought these were three separate issues: poor erections, low energy, bad sleep. But when we worked on restoring his sleep first, something incredible happened. His testosterone improved, his energy came back, and within weeks, his erections returned with a strength he thought was gone forever. He looked me in the eye and said, "Doc, I feel like myself again." This is the hidden connection most men never see. It's not just about fixing erections, it's about rebuilding the foundation of your health. And it starts with what happens when your head hits the pillow. And once you realize how powerful this nighttime reset truly is, the question becomes, how can you take advantage of it in the simplest way possible? That's where the idea of a single pill before bed becomes so important. 3. The nighttime pill. Why taking it before bed works best. Over the years, I've had countless men ask me, "Doc, why does it matter when I take something? Isn't a pill just a pill?" And every time, I lean in and tell them the same truth. Timing is everything. You see, your body has rhythms, powerful internal clocks, that control how well you heal, how deeply you sleep, and how strongly you perform. And when you take the right support at the right time, you don't fight against your body, you work with it. That's why this nighttime pill is so powerful. It's not about taking something during the day when your body is already under stress. It's about giving your system exactly what it needs at the very moment it can use it best, before you close your eyes at night. Think about what happens when you sleep. Your heart slows, your blood pressure drops, and your body begins the process of repair. This is when your blood vessels relax and restore themselves, when your brain signals the release of testosterone, when your muscles rebuild and your nervous system quiets down. It is the most natural window of healing you'll ever have, and yet most men never give their bodies the chance to maximize it. That's why men who use this simple pill at bedtime often notice something remarkable. Their erections grow firmer, their mornings are filled with more energy, and their sleep becomes deeper than it has been in decades. One of my patients once told me that for years he had tried every supplement under the sun, but nothing worked until he changed when he took it. Just by shifting to nighttime, the difference was like flipping a switch. He said, "Doc, it's like my body finally remembered what it was supposed to do." This is why I tell men everywhere, stop ignoring the power of nighttime, because once you understand what this pill is actually doing inside your body while you sleep, you'll see it's not just about timing, it's about transformation. And that brings us to the next truth, what really happens deep inside you when this pill goes to work. 4. What this pill does inside your body. When I first explain to men what this pill actually does inside the body, many of them sit back in their chair and shake their heads in disbelief. They say, "Doc, how could something so simple make such a difference?" But the truth is, the power doesn't come from some magical ingredient. It comes from how it works with your body's natural systems, especially at night when your defenses are down and your healing is at its peak. The very first thing it does is help open up your blood vessels. Imagine the arteries leading to your penis like garden hoses that have been left outside too long, stiff and clogged. This pill helps them relax and expand, letting blood surge through with the kind of strength you haven't felt in years. And that surge of circulation is exactly what gives you those firm, lasting erections that make you feel like a man again. At the same time, it boosts nitric oxide, a tiny molecule with a huge job, telling your blood vessels when to widen. Without enough of it, erections simply can't happen. By restoring this signal, your body remembers how to respond naturally, without forcing anything. But the effects don't stop there. While you're sleeping, your nervous system quiets, And this pill helps calm the stress signals that often rob older men of deep rest. Instead of tossing and turning, your body drops into the kind of sleep that restores testosterone, repairs cells, and recharges your energy. And when you wake up after nights like this, the difference is undeniable. You feel stronger, clearer, and more alive. I once had a patient tell me, "Doc, I thought I was broken, but after a few weeks, I realized my body wasn't broken. It just needed the right support." And he was right. The body is waiting to heal if you give it the tools. Now here's where it gets even more important. Because once you understand what's happening biologically, you begin to see how this transformation isn't just physical, it reaches into the most personal, emotional parts of your life. And that's exactly what we'll talk about next. 5. The emotional side. Why this matters for men over 60. I want to pause here and talk to you not just as a doctor, but as a man. Because this isn't only about blood flow, hormones, or even sleep. It's about something deeper. The way losing your erections affects your identity, your relationships, and your sense of who you are. Over the years, I've had countless men sit across from me with a look in their eyes I'll never forget. They weren't just frustrated about the physical side, they were scared about what it meant for their lives. One man told me, "Doc, I feel like I'm letting my wife down. I can see the disappointment in her face, and it breaks me inside." Another whispered, "It makes me feel old, like I'm fading away." These words carry a weight that statistics can never capture. Because when a man loses his ability to perform, he doesn't just lose intimacy, he loses a part of his confidence. He walks differently, he talks differently, he doubts himself in ways that spill into every part of life. But when that spark comes back, when he can once again rise to the occasion, something amazing happens. It's not only about pleasure, it's about pride, connection, and the deep reassurance that he is still the man he always was. I've seen marriages reignite, self-esteem rise, and men carry themselves with a confidence they thought was gone forever. And here's the truth I want you to hold on to. It is never too late. At 60, 70, even 80, intimacy and vitality are still yours to claim. I've watched men rediscover themselves, and I can tell you it changes everything. The way they love, the way they laugh, even the way they wake up in the morning. But don't just take my word for it. The most powerful proof doesn't come from me. It comes from real men, just like you, who've lived this transformation. And their stories are the ones I want you to hear next. 6. Real stories. Men who changed their lives. Over the years, I've had the privilege of walking beside thousands of men as they faced one of the most personal struggles of their lives. And while I can share all the science in the world, sometimes what speaks the loudest is the experience of men who were once exactly where you are right now. I remember a gentleman in his late 60s who sat across from me, his eyes filled with doubt. He said, "Doc, I think my best years are behind me. I don't see how anything can change that." But within weeks of following my advice, his voice carried a new energy. He told me he was waking up with morning wood again, something he thought was gone for good. With a quiet smile, he added, "My wife noticed before I even said a word." The joy in his eyes reminded me why I do this work. Another man, 72 years old, came to me exhausted from years of broken sleep. He had given up hope that he'd ever feel rested again, and his intimacy had faded along with his energy. After starting the nighttime routine, his story changed. He told me he was sleeping soundly, waking with energy, and rediscovering a connection with his partner he feared was lost forever. He looked me in the eye and said words I'll never forget. "Doc, you gave me back my life." These stories are not rare miracles. They are the reality for men who take action, who refuse to accept decline as their destiny. And I share them with you because I want you to see what's possible. If they can do it, so can you. The key is to start, to take that first step before another year slips away. And now that you've heard their journeys, I want to bring it back to you because the next step isn't about someone else's success. It's about the choice you can make tonight, the decision that could change everything for you. 7. Your next step. Start tonight. So here we are, standing at a crossroads that every man over 60 eventually faces. You can continue down the road of frustration, accepting restless nights, fading energy, and weak erections as just part of getting old. Or you can choose a different path, the one that leads back to strength, confidence, and intimacy. I've watched men make this decision, and I can tell you with certainty that the ones who take action never regret it. What changes isn't just their body, it's the way they carry themselves, the way they connect with their partner, the way they feel alive again. I think of one man who told me that for years, he felt like life was slipping through his fingers. Every night he lay awake, tired but unable to rest, and every morning he woke up weaker than the day before. But the moment he began giving his body the right support before bed, the story changed. His sleep deepened, his mornings grew stronger, and his confidence returned with a force he never expected. He looked at me and said, "Doc, I finally feel like myself again." Those words meant everything, because that is what this is all about, helping men rediscover who they truly are. The beauty of this approach is its simplicity. You don't need complicated routines, risky procedures, or endless prescriptions. You need one clear decision: to give your body what it needs at the moment it heals the most, right before you close your eyes at night. Start tonight, not tomorrow, not next week, because every night you delay is one more night of lost strength, lost energy, and lost intimacy. And as powerful as this step is, there's one final truth you need to hear, something that ties all of this together and will show you exactly how to claim the results you've been waiting for. That's what we're about to uncover in the conclusion. Conclusion. As we come to the end of this conversation, I want to leave you with a simple but powerful reminder. Getting older does not mean giving up on your vitality, your intimacy, or your confidence as a man. We've talked about why erections fade after 60, how sleep, energy, and sexual health are deeply connected, and why timing, taking the right support before bed, can make all the difference. We explored what happens inside your body when this nighttime pill goes to work, how it restores blood flow, strengthens hormones, and repairs you from the inside out. And we've looked at the emotional side of this struggle, because I know firsthand that weak erections aren't just about biology. They affect your pride, your relationships, and your sense of identity. I've shared the voices of men who once felt hopeless, men who thought their best years were behind them, only to discover that a new chapter was waiting, one filled with strength, intimacy, and renewed energy. Their stories are proof that transformation is possible. And they are no different from you. They simply made the choice to act. And now it comes down to you. Tonight, you have a decision. Will you keep going through the motions, carrying frustration and fatigue, or will you take the step that could change your nights and your mornings forever? I want you to know, from my heart as a doctor who has seen this transformation countless times, that it is never too late. At 60, 70, even 80, your body still has the power to surprise you when you give it the chance. So start tonight. Don't wait another week or another year. Give yourself the gift of deeper sleep, stronger erections, and the energy to live life on your terms again. Because the man you want to be, the man you still are, is waiting to wake up inside you. And that journey begins with a single choice before bed.